Abdullah had a test. 1 candle, 5 minutes. And you'll know immediately whether your assumption is working or whether you're lying to yourself. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Tonight, in 5 minutes, you light a candle. You sit in front of it. And you watch what happens. Not to the candle. To you. Because the candle doesn't lie. The flame doesn't perform. And what you see in that flame in those 5 minutes will tell you everything you need to know. Whether you're in the state, or whether you're pretending, whether it's done, or whether you're still trying. And trying means it's not working. But if you're in the state, if you're truly in it, the flame will show you. And what it shows you is undeniable, unmistakable, immediate. And once you see it, you'll never question again. Not because you believe, because you know, and knowing is what creates. Not hoping, knowing. Here's what you're going to learn. The exact candle test, step by step. What to look for in the flame. What it means if you see it. What it means if you don't. Why 5 minutes is critical. And why this test has created more certainty in more people than any technique Neville ever taught. Because techniques require faith, but tests require only observation. And observation is what ends doubt. Because you can doubt thoughts. You can doubt feelings, but you can't doubt what you see. And what you're going to see tonight, if you're in the state, is proof. Not metaphorical proof, literal proof, visual proof, undeniable proof. That it's working, that you're in it, that it's done. And done means it's only a matter of time before reality catches up. And catching up is guaranteed. Not hoped for, guaranteed. Now, before I give you the exact test, you need to understand what was happening with Neville. This is 1933. He's been studying with Abdullah for months, doing everything right, imagining, assuming, persisting. But he keeps asking, how do I know it's working? How do I know I'm in the state? How do I know I'm not just imagining things? And Abdullah got tired of the questions, because questions are doubt. And doubt is what blocks manifestation. So Abdullah designed a test, not a mental test. A visual test, something external, something observable, something that couldn't be doubted. Because you either see it or you don't. And seeing is knowing. And knowing ends questions. Forever. Here's the test. Exactly as Abdullah gave it. Exactly as you're doing it tonight. Step 1. Get a candle. Any candle. Doesn't matter what color. Doesn't matter what size. Just a candle. And matches or a lighter. That's it. No special setup. No ritual space. No preparation. Just you. A candle and 5 minutes. Step 2. Turn off all the lights. Complete darkness. The only light in the room should be the candle. This is critical. Because what you're watching for is subtle. And subtle requires darkness. Requires contrast. And contrast is what makes it visible. Step 3. Light the candle. Place it at eye level. About 2 feet away from your face. Close enough to see clearly. Far enough that the heat doesn't distract you. And you sit. Comfortable. Relaxed. Not tense. Not forcing anything. Just sitting. Watching. Step 4. Think of your assumption. The state you're claiming. Not in detail. Just the essence. I am the person who just got the job. I am in that relationship. I am living there. Just the core. The identity. And you hold that thought. Lightly. Not forcing. Not trying. Just holding. Like you'd hold a name. A fact. Something you know without effort. Step 5. Watch the flame. For 5 minutes. Don't stare aggressively. Don't try to make something happen. Just watch. Like you'd watch a sunset. Like you'd watch rain. Observing. Witnessing. And here's what you're watching for. If you're in the state, if your assumption is active, if it's working, the flame will do something. It will respond. Not to the room. Not to air currents. But to you. To your state. to your frequency. And the response is specific, unmistakable. The flame will become still, perfectly still. No flickering, no dancing, no movement. Just vertical, tall, steady, like a pillar. And that stillness is the sign, the proof that you're in alignment, that you're in the state, that it's done. Because stillness is certainty, flickering is doubt. And if the flame is still, you're certain. Even if your mind doesn't feel certain, your state is certain, and state is what creates, not mind. But if you're not in the state, if you're trying, if you're pretending, the flame will tell you. It will flicker, dance, move erratically, bend, sway. And that movement is resistance, doubt, effort. And effort is what blocks. And blocking means it's not working. Not because the technique is wrong, but because you're not in the state. You're in the effort of trying to get to the state. And trying to get there means you're not there. And not being there means nothing manifests. And the flame just showed you that. Honestly, undeniably, immediately. Now here's the science. And this is real. Documented. Verifiable. Flames respond to electromagnetic fields. Human bodies produce electromagnetic fields. And the strength and coherence of your field changes based on your emotional state. When you're in a state of certainty, coherence, alignment, your field is strong, stable, coherent. And coherent fields create stable environments. And stable environments make flames still. But when you're in a state of doubt, resistance, effort, your field is scattered, incoherent, chaotic. And chaotic fields create unstable environments. And unstable environments make flames flicker. This is not mysticism. This is physics, measurable, repeatable, undeniable. And Abdullah knew this. He knew that your state is not just mental. It's physiological, energetic, electromagnetic. And electromagnetic is observable. Through flame, through response, through stillness or movement. And observing it ends doubt. Because you can't argue with what you see. You either saw stillness or you didn't. And if you saw stillness, you're in the state. And if you didn't, you're not. And not being in the state means you adjust. You go back. You assume again. You embody again. And you test again. Until the flame is still. Until the state is real. Until it's done. Now let me show you what happens minute by minute. Because 5 minutes is specific. Not 3. Not 10. 5. And 5 is the threshold. The point where pretending breaks down and truth emerges. Minute 1. You light the candle. You hold your assumption. And the flame flickers, moves, dances. This is normal. You're settling. Your field is adjusting. Your nervous system is calibrating. Give it time. Don't judge yet. Just watch. Minute 2. The flame starts to stabilize. If you're in the state, it's calming, straightening, becoming more vertical, more still. But if you're not in the state, it's still moving, still erratic, and you notice. And noticing is information, not failure, information. Minute 3. This is the critical minute, the turning point. If you're truly in the state, the flame is now still, or merely still, vertical, tall, steady, and you feel something. A calm, a knowing, a quiet certainty, not excitement, not relief, just, yes, this is real. I'm in it, it's done. But if you're not in the state, the flame is still dancing, and you feel it. The gap, the effort, the trying, and trying is the signal that you're not there yet. Minute 4. If the flame was still in minute 3, it stays still, unwavering, and you just watch. And watching stillness is hypnotic, calming. It locks in the state, makes it deeper, makes it more solid. But if the flame was flickering in minute 3, it's probably still flickering, and you're starting to doubt, starting to wonder, and wondering is doubt. And doubt is what you're trying to eliminate. So you make a choice. Stop the test. Go back. Assume again. Embody again. And try tomorrow. Minute 5. Final minute. If the flame has been still, you've proven it. To yourself. You're in the state. You can stop the test. Blow out the candle. And go to sleep knowing it's done. Not hoping, knowing. But if the flame has been flickering the whole time, you've also proven something. You're not in the state. And not being in the state means you need to shift. Need to embody. Need to actually be it. Not think it. Be it. And being requires practice. Requires repetition. Requires doing the test again tomorrow until the flame is still. Here's what most people get wrong. They do the test once. The flame flickers. And they think it doesn't work. This is stupid. I'm in the state. The candle is just responding to air. Wrong. If you are truly in the state, the flame responds to you more than it responds to air. Because your field is stronger than air currents. Your certainty is more powerful than environmental factors. And if the flame is flickering, it's not the candle's fault. It's yours. Not because you're doing something wrong. Because you're not in the state yet. And not being in the state yet is fine. It just means you have work to do. And work is what the test reveals. What needs to shift. What needs to deepen. What needs to become real. Second mistake. They try to force the flame to be still. They stare at it, concentrate, try to control it with their mind. And this creates more chaos, more flickering. Because force is effort. And effort is resistance. And resistance is what makes flames dance. You don't control the flame. You control your state. And your state controls the flame. Indirectly, naturally, automatically. So you don't try to make the flame still. You become still. And stillness in you creates stillness in the flame. Always, without exception. Third mistake. They do the test before they've assumed. They light the candle and then try to assume while watching. Wrong. You assume first. You enter the state first. You embody first. Then you test. The test is not the practice. The test is the verification, the confirmation, the proof. You don't use the test to get into the state. You use the test to prove you're already in the state. And proving you're in it is what creates certainty. And certainty is what ends doubt. And ending doubt is what allows manifestation. Now here's a real example. Neville did this test. 1933. Abdullah told him, "You say you're in Barbados. Prove it. Light a candle. Watch the flame. If you're truly in Barbados internally, the flame will be still. Because being in Barbados is certainty, and certainty creates stillness. But if you're wanting to be in Barbados, the flame will flicker. Because wanting is doubt. And doubt creates movement." Neville lit the candle. First minute, flickering. Second minute, still flickering. Third minute, he realized, I'm not in Barbados. I'm wanting to be in Barbados. And wanting is not being. So he stopped the test, went back to his practice, assumed harder, felt it more, embodied it deeper. The next night, he did the test again. First minute, flickering, but less. Second minute, calming. Third minute, still, completely still. And he knew. He was in Barbados, internally, completely. And within weeks, his brother paid for the trip, and Neville went. And when he arrived, he remembered the candle, the stillness, the moment he knew. And knowing is what created it, not hoping, not wanting, knowing. And knowing came from the candle, from the test, from the proof. Another example, Mauden. A woman wanted a specific job. She'd been assuming it for weeks, but she wasn't sure if it was working, so she did the candle test. First night, flame flickered the entire 5 minutes. She realized, I'm not in the state. I'm in the state of wanting the state, so she adjusted. She stopped imagining getting the job and started being the person who has the job. The next night, candle test. First 2 minutes, flickering. Minute 3, stillness. Minute 4, complete stillness. Minute 5, unwavering. She knew she was in it. She stopped checking, stopped wondering, stopped doubting, just lived as the person who has the job. And within a week, they called, offered her the position. And when they did, she wasn't surprised, because the candle had already told her she was in the state. And being in the state means manifestation is guaranteed. Not hoped for, guaranteed. Here's the real power of this test. And this is what makes it go viral. What makes it spread? What makes it undeniable? It's visual, it's external. It's something anyone can do. Tonight, right now. No special knowledge, no training, no belief required. You just need a candle and 5 minutes. And you'll know immediately whether you're in the state or not. And knowing ends doubt. And ending doubt is what 99% of people need. They don't need more techniques. They need certainty. And certainty comes from proof. And proof comes from the candle, from the flame, from watching it respond to who you are. Not who you're trying to be, who you are. 5 things to remember. These 5 things make the test work, or make it fail. 1. Do the test in complete darkness. No other light sources, just the candle. Because what you're watching for is subtle, and subtle requires contrast. And contrast requires darkness. 2. Don't force the flame. Don't stare aggressively. Don't try to control it. Just watch. Like you'd watch a cloud, observing, not controlling. And observation without control is what reveals truth. 3. If the flame flickers, don't give up. Don't think the test doesn't work. The test is working. It's telling you you're not in the state yet. And not being in the state yet means you adjust. You embody deeper. You assume stronger. And you test again tomorrow. 4. If the flame is still, trust it. Don't question it. Don't wonder if it's coincidence. Still flame means still state. And still state means it's done. And done means manifestation is coming. Not maybe. Definitely. It's just a matter of time. 5. Do this test every night until the flame is still. And once it's still, you don't need the test anymore. You know, you're in the state. And being in the state is all that's required. Nothing more. Nothing less. Abdullah looked at Neville after he saw the still flame and said, "You see? The candle doesn't lie. The flame doesn't perform. It just responds to what you are. And you are in Barbados now. Not physically, but in state. And state creates physical. Always. Without exception. The candle just proved it. Not to me. To you. And you proving it to yourself is worth more than me telling you 1,000 times. Because telling creates belief. But seeing creates knowing. And knowing is what creates reality. Every time. Without fail. Do this test tonight. Get a candle. Turn off the lights. Sit in darkness. Hold your assumption. And watch the flame. For 5 minutes. And see what it shows you. And whatever it shows you, believe it. Because the flame doesn't lie. If it's still, you're in the state. If it flickers, you're not. And not being in the state yet is not failure. It's information. Information you use to adjust, to deepen, to embody. And tomorrow, you test again. And the day after. And the day after. Until the flame is still. Until the state is real. Until it's done. And done is what you want. And done is what the candle will prove. Tonight. In 5 minutes. Undeniably. That's the candle test. 1 candle. 5 minutes. Complete darkness. And you'll know. Not believe. Not hope. No. Whether it's working. Whether you're in it. Whether it's done. And knowing is what ends doubt forever. And ending doubt is what allows manifestation. Always. Immediately. Completely. Starting tonight with a candle. And 5 minutes. And the courage to see the truth. Whatever the truth is, light the candle, watch the flame, and let it tell you the truth. Will you do it tonight?